For close to 1000 days, Indian cricket team fans really missed this one particular sight. When would Virat Kohli raise his bat to the heavens and finally acknowledge a century? November 2019, he had hit 70 centuries. We all thought that perhaps it would only be a matter of time before he even nears Tendulkar's mark. But after November 2019, after two intense coronavirus waves in 2022, 33 months later, Virat Kohli scores his 71st international century. And this Virat Kohli achieved what peak Virat Kohli had never achieved, score a T20I century. And today he did it. 122 of 61 balls, 200 strike rate, his first T20I century. The celebration, the smile, the relief was palpable. This was not the Virat Kohli of 2012, folks, where he was aggressive, pumped up, passionate about scoring a century. Here, this was a much more mellowed, a father figure of Virat Kohli. Acknowledging that yes, after all the struggles comes a point where you have achieved your providence. And that is why this Virat Kohli knock is very, very special. Despite being a dead rubber against Afghanistan, this knock is very, very special. And September 8th, 2022 will forever be remembered as the day the king reclaimed his rightful spot. Look at the reactions on social media. Several social media handles have crashed. The ICC have changed their cover picture and have made it Virat Kohli dedicated. That is the intensity with which the king has. That's the impact the king has, folks. Today, what did Virat Kohli achieve? It was staggering. First T20I ton. Highest T20I individual score, by the way, in T20Is. This was simply fantastic. We all thought that Virat Kohli's 122 was a record, but we did not know that Virat Kohli had in fact achieved the highest individual score by an Indian in T20Is, surpassing Rohit Sharma's 118 against Sri Lanka. Scores his 71st international ton and gets it in fewer innings than Ricky Ponting and Sachin Tendulkar. Yes, those two names, which are the gold standard of batting, he's gotten it quicker than them. Despite that lean run, despite that so-called bad form, he gets it quicker than them. After the innings, he was finally asked, we were all waiting with bated breath, what will Virat Kohli say? Because remember, he's had plenty to get off his chest after the years of 2020 and 2021. Before the Asia Cup, he had a very open mind, had a honest chat with the host broadcasters about what he wanted to do, what his role is in the team, and what was indeed plaguing him, and why he needed this break. Here, he reiterated the same thing. He said, the last 2.5 years has taught me a lot. He was also shocked. Why? He was shocked because this was the format I least expected for a century. As I had said, peak Virat Kohli had made a highest score of 94. He had glorious years in 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, but he had never hit a century. Now in 2022, when you were assuming that peak Virat Kohli was not the peak, he scores a century. That's why he himself was shocked. When I came back, I wasn't desperate. This line perhaps sums up Virat Kohli's new mindset. He is not desperate to get into the form that he once had. Why? He's achieved everything that he wants to. There will never be another batter like Virat Kohli ever in cricket. We all thought that Sachin Tendulkar could be replaced. No, even today, there is only one gold standard of Sachin Ramesh Tendulkar. Now there is only one Virat Kohli. He's clear. When I came back, I wasn't desperate. That break, we all talk about how a break refreshes an individual. Many people had said, when you take breaks, you do not come back to form. Virat is probably defying that. 6 weeks off, I was refreshed. He had mentioned, he had revealed that for the first time in 10 years, he did not pick up a bat for a month. That showed that he really wanted to cut off and he really wanted to switch off from cricket. Understood how tired I was mentally and physically. There were amber signs of caution saying, stop, you have to take a break, you have to take a break. Physically and mentally, he wanted to perform at that intensity, but it just did not. Imagine, this is Virat Kohli we are talking about, elite level super athlete. These kind of things can happen, folks. He's a human. There are some kryptonites in us, and that comes out in the open. Felt like my old rhythm was coming back. That is the most reassuring thing that Virat Kohli can say. Because you noticed one or two shots. The one shot that he hit of Mohammad Hasnain in the game against Pakistan, that was vintage Virat Kohli. The drive today to a full wide Yorker by Fazal Haq Farooqi showed that that was vintage Virat. It took me back 10 years when he had hit a similar shot of Lasith Malinga in Hobart. That was when Virat Kohli was born, the legend of Virat Kohli. Today, it just shows that he's still one of the greatest in the business. What is Virat's mindset at this point of time? I have had many suggestions, lot of advice. As he had said, if you want to help me, you have to meet me personally, one-on-one, and just offer me advice, because neither I gain a lot, he also gains a lot. People will have their opinions, but they cannot feel what you are feeling. He is clearly mentioning that there is no place for outside noise for him. He just wants to shut off the outside noise, and he's very, very clear on doing that. I picked out all the videos from the best time I had. Perhaps when you are down in the dumps, you recall all your past glory. You recall some great moments that you had shared. And doesn't that chirp you up? That's the same thing Virat Kohli does. And that's why you see he's enjoying his game a lot more. He also said something very, very interesting in the post-match presentation. He said, all my 60s are being viewed as failures. That is the problem of Virat Kohli. Why? The benchmark and the standards that Virat Kohli has set is so high that anything less than that is a failure. Even in the peak of Virat Kohli's lean patch, in ODIs he had averaged 45. In T20Is he had averaged a staggering 74 in 2021. Despite that, he's viewed as a failure. But that is the gold standard benchmark that Virat has set. So today, folks, September 8th, 2022, 1000 days, here or there, you can give and take a few. Virat Kohli finally hits 71st international ton. First T20I ton. He joins Rohit, KL, Suresh Raina, and now he's in that list as well. It's a great day, folks, but remember, there are more sterner tests awaited for Virat Kohli. One hopes that the king reclaims his rightful spot and continues to dominate, albeit in a very, very clinical fashion. Thank you so much, folks, for listening to this live. We'll be back with more updates from sports today. Press the like, comment and share button. We are also there on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. I will be back with what Neeraj Chopra has to do when it comes to creating history.